I am. I haven't had a woman in my bed for about 3 weeks. Well, for 2 years, I only had sex in threesomes with 2 guys. You could be waiting 3 to 6 months to meet somebody from one of these ads. Just wander around naked, do your food shopping naked, do everything naked. And sex is a buffet of pleasure. Yeah, and we just used to have so much fun. And I just destroy those rooms.
Welcome to Under the Sheets with me, Tatiana Ashbourne, and all my friends. Laugh about it. Give it to me, baby. Learn about it. Love it or hate it. Let's do it. Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends. Welcome to Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends, brought to you by Dirty Talk. I'm Tatiana Ashbourne, and this is my friend. This is Suzanne, everybody. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling excited.
It's so good to finally have you on the show. We've been trying to do this for about 2 years now.
A long time. It's been a long time.
You're finally in my bed, and it's a pleasure to have you.
I am. I haven't had a woman in my bed for about 3 weeks.
Very good. Oh my goodness. God, well, I suppose this is slightly different to what you were expecting 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Was it a good 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was very good. It was super fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
Can't complain.
Nice. Have you always been open talking about sex?
Yeah, I mean, I probably too open, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a period in my 40s where, having left my marriage and really being fairly innocent, like I suspect a lot of people are in their 20s. I'd had a sexually active 20s, but when I hit my 40s, I felt, okay, this is the time to really go for it. And I always say to women, if you're single and you're in your 40s and you want to explore your sexuality and anything else around sex, that's the best time to do it. So I went on a fairly extreme journey of sexual discovery and basically thought, I'm going to try to reenact every fantasy that's ever gone on in my head.
Wow.
And I did. And that was pretty exciting stuff.
Give me an example of a fantasy.
Well, for 2 years, I only had sex in threesomes with 2 guys.
With 3 what? In
threesomes. So I didn't have one-on-one sex for 2 solid years because I couldn't really see the point at that point. But now I can. But
so why couldn't you see the point? Just because it wasn't fun and it was just the same?
Just because it was really great fun. It was really, really good fun. But at that point, I was, so that was some of the things that I did.
That's
got very involved in swinging, got very involved and just looked at alternative lifestyles in general.
So then before your 40s, when you were married, were you completely, was it a monogamous relationship?
Totally monogamous. And I did not have any sex the last 4 years of my marriage, like a lot of people that have been married.
So you had a lot of catching up to do.
So I had a lot of catching up to do. I did, indeed, and I did.
And why do you think sex is so taboo when it comes to the older generation?
I mean, I think there's a multitude of reasons. One is when younger people think about sex and older people, they automatically default to their parents.
Yeah, that's true.
So they think, ick, I don't want to think about my mom having sex. That's so icky. So I suspect there's a bit of that. I mean, society is so focused on young people. So older people just generally don't get a look in. So I think there's just generally a societal expectation that when you get to a certain age and you're not having babies anymore, that it all just stops.
Yeah.
And what we know is that if you want it to stop, of course you can stop. But for a lot of people, they don't because it's pleasure and it's fun. It's good for your health and, does all sorts of wonderful things for your body.
But there'll be a time where it has to stop or not. Does it ever have to stop?
No, never has to stop, ever.
That's so good. So, I mean, it shouldn't have. Yeah.
No, and scientifically, if you carry on having sex, even if it's sex with yourself and not with a partner, if you just carry on having orgasms and sexual pleasure, then the stats are that you live longer, your memory is retained, you are less likely to struggle with dementia, you're generally overall happier than other people. And once you get to the age where you have the menopause, it actually reduces your menopausal symptoms. So there's like really good, valid health reasons for carrying on having sex besides just the feels good part of it. And, you know, and it brings people closer together. There's just so many different reasons to carry on, and you don't have to stop. That's the thing. But I suppose one of the things that I recognized partly through exploring this and through my own getting older and journey is that there are things health-wise that might prevent you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that
from
your mobility. Yeah.
So you might have mobility issues. You might have issues if you're a woman around dryness, which can be combated with prescription drugs and other things. You might, if you're a guy, struggle with erectile dysfunction. You know, there's lots of things that can happen. And we don't talk a lot about that. And that's probably the biggest challenge to being an older person and wanting to carry on is that because we don't talk about it, we struggle with some of those later life symptoms in silence.
When you were growing up, did you have an open conversation with your parents about sex?
Not really, but on the flip side, I didn't feel it was off limits if I wanted to.
So that's good.
Although I was brought up in quite a conservative family, my parents have always been very just pro educating yourself. They're still married. They're still very healthy. So I was just brought up in quite an environment that was just supportive. I would say generally supportive.
That's amazing. That's what you want, really.
Yeah.
And when was the first time that you realized that you kind of realized the idea of being non-monogamous? Was it within the marriage you realized, actually, I don't just want to be with one person? Or was it afterwards you thought, actually, let's explore it with more people?
I think after I left my marriage, I thought, let's just have some fun.
Okay.
And fun meant lots of people. And I was with someone who, he wasn't a permanent partner. He was more just like a casual person who had an amazing address book.
Yeah.
Because he'd been into this lifestyle for a very long period of time. Back in the old days of, you know, swinging and non-monogamy, people used to put ads in the back of magazines and free newspapers like Loot that you're too young probably to even remember, but there used to be, and even when he talks about it with this certain like glow, which was that people used to put ads in the back of newspapers with post office box numbers, and you would have to send your photograph into this post office box to be able to then get the person to get the mail and see the picture, and then they would have to send their picture in. And this process could go on for months, right?
That's crazy.
Like months. You could be waiting 3 to 6 months to meet somebody from one of these ads. And of course, by the time you got to them, you probably had this vision that had gone on in your brain for so long, you'd probably come at least 500 times by that point. And you just finally meet them, and it would just be, so this guy just had met like so many people. And so when he said to me, do you want to go to clubs and parties and things together and explore all of this? I just said, yeah, I'd love to do that. That sounds amazing. And then he'd say to me, you know, what do you want to do? And I'd say, oh, I don't know. I'd quite like to, I'd quite like to have like a couple over and do this. And he'd go, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, okay. When would you like to do that? I go, I don't know, Saturday. And he'd go, yeah, okay. And on Saturday, somebody would just turn up, nice people. And I'd go, okay, let's do that.
But then do you feel a level of pressure to then have sex with them? Is there pressure or not, because that's what you're there for?
No, I think that's what you're there for.
Okay,
And because he and I we were doing these things together, it's always better if you're in a couple in these, you know, in these scenarios. So because we were in this kind of couple, it just felt completely natural to do these things. But like I said, I was in my 40s and my libido was just raging, and I was just literally, I don't know where I got the energy, honestly. Sometimes I look back, I'm like, how did you do all that
Yeah.
stuff? Because it makes me tired to think about it, frankly.
Has your opinion changed on sex and intimacy as you've evolved, or have you always thought that sex is good and I want to be open with it, and you accept other people for being open about it, or were you a bit more prudish, let's say, about going, oh gosh, no, like that's just, why would you do that?
I think when I was younger, I definitely associated sex, like good sex,
Yeah.
meant there had to be something else that was going to happen, right? So I would get involved with completely inappropriate people who were just awesome lovers, or who just, worked for me.
Yeah.
And then my brain would immediately go into like the Cinderella fantasy of, I've got to be with this person because they've done all this amazing stuff, and like they're so amazing. And for days afterwards, I'd be replaying whatever had happened between us. Now I can be with somebody and I can just have the best time, and the next day I'll be going, God, that was really fun. Yeah, that was fun. And then the next day I'm just like, I'm not even really thinking about it until the following week, and I'm thinking, oh, that was kind of fun back then. Maybe we should do that again.
Yeah. And do you look for long-term partners now or never?
I'm not looking for anything really. I mean, I'm really lucky in that I'm financially independent.
Yeah.
I own my own home. I go and spend the winter months somewhere warm.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends. I have a really busy life. And so I'm not seeking anything that's going to impinge on that. Yeah. Really. The person that I see most frequently, and it's been just over a year now, is someone who's, he's in a similar situation to me. And we're just really happy in our situationship, as I call it. Yeah. Where we just meet, we don't really talk too much to each other during the week, and we just get together on the weekends and we just have fun. Wow. My best friend is also my ex-boyfriend, which also slightly changes the situation, because I suspect lots of women, heterosexual women, looking for partners are looking for deep emotional connection and a sexual connection. Yeah. I have a deep emotional connection with somebody who's a man. Okay. And he's currently living with me just while he gets his place sorted out that he's bought. But we've got an incredibly close relationship. So I don't need that in a partner, because he's almost like my friends call him like my platonic husband, Yeah. So the relationships that I have with men are typically more sexual, because I like sex and I want to have sex with people, and I like these people. And and so whilst they're not completely devoid of emotion, I don't have the same requirements. I'm not looking to marry them, you know.
Yeah. Do you think there's a such thing as too much sex?
I think I definitely in my 40s and my friends thought I was bordering on being a sex addict. They said, I'm worried about you, and I think that you've got a problem. And I said, and there were some other circumstances that created this urgency within me to do all of this sexual exploration. I was with somebody and he died, and I was in that marriage, and that was, not tremendously fulfilling sexually. Yeah. Then following that, I was with somebody who kind of was quite crazy and wild, but he was also an alcoholic, and he died. And then after that, I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to have some fun for a while. Yeah. I just don't want to be with anybody. I haven't done particularly well here. So I'm just going to have some fun. And I thought, I'm not going to do this forever. Yeah. Because it does get boring. I mean, when you have a lot of, unless I suppose you really have a problem. Yeah. There is a point where you just think, I've done that, and I've done that, and I've done that, and I've done that, and I've and that, and that, and that. Yeah. And on my 50th birthday, that was kind of the moment where I sort of stopped it all. for a number of reasons. One is I was bored.
Yeah.
I was bored senseless with watching people having sex in front of me and doing all of that. And I just was sort of looking around going, oh, God, I've seen so much of that. I'm just so sick to death of it. And the other thing was I felt that I was missing out on genuine intimacy. You can get to a point, which I suspect is the point maybe sex workers get to, where you can just stop feeling any real emotional connection with people. It just becomes purely sexual. And then I just feel that's not very healthy. So I wanted to re-engage with genuine intimacy. So I stopped all the threesomes and I stopped everything else. And I just took up with a nice man.
Yeah.
And had a nice relationship with him.
That's amazing. And so tell me more about your swinging. So you say you've been to France several times to go to, what's it called?
It's called Cap d'Agde.
Okay.
And it's a naturist stroke swinging village. It's a town in France. It's very, very, very well known. It's quite an ugly town, actually. Yeah. It's a walled village in near Montpellier.
Okay.
And you walk in and there's these signs with bikinis with lines going through them. And you literally just have to take your clothes off, assuming it's warm. Obviously, they don't want you to be cold. So you have to keep your clothes on if you're cold. But if you're not cold, then you can just wander around naked, do your food shopping naked, do everything naked. And it's incredibly liberating. There's people there of all ages, like all ages.
So this is all year round, or this is just
no,
for a certain...
it's really just May to October.
Okay.
May, when it's warm.
It's purposely there to be with other partners, to be with other couples.
It's a naturist village,
so
it's just about nudity. Right. Fundamentally, it started as just a place where it was aimed at Germans because Germans like to. That's a popular thing in Germany is naturism. So it started to attract German tourists to this part of France. And this guy who had this massive plot of land built this village, which is expanded out. And then, of course, as the nudity side of it became more and more popular, it attracted people for sexual reasons.
Wow.
And then the swinging part of it developed. And now I would say it's still maybe 60% swinging and 40% nudity. So it's still very much a mix of people who some of them don't engage in any sexual activities. All ages, families go, everybody goes. Like it's the craziest place.
That's incredible.
It's really fun. And if you're an older person and you're lacking confidence around your body, which a lot of older people are because, you put on weight and things, it's a really great place to see other people that are just like you and go, they look okay. Or there they are in their naked glory. So,
oh my goodness, that's so
super
incredible.
Fun. Super fun.
Yeah, definitely. How does aging affect sexual confidence, and what advice would you give to someone struggling in that area?
I'd say that there's a number of things that I've noticed about sexual confidence when you get older. The first is, as I just mentioned, around body confidence.
Yeah.
It's really difficult if you're used to being a slimmer person to suddenly see that extra 10 pounds go on around your waistline, this belly, if you're a man, suddenly appear that just never seemed to be there before. And, just see the changes that are going on in your body. I'd say that some of the changes that go on around sex, around dryness, around erectile dysfunction, can be sorted with, prescription medication. We know a lot about Viagra.
Yeah.
We see that you can go into Boots now and you can just ask for it and they'll give it to you. But most women don't know that there's a product on the market that just sorts everything out downstairs called vaginal estrogen.
Okay.
It's a form of HRT, but it's topical, which means it doesn't go into your bloodstream in the same way as other HRT.
Yeah.
And it just retains the moisture, the tissue plumpness, and all the stuff that dissipates when you get to be an older woman.
Yeah.
And I was just told about it from a friend because I was going, God, lube just doesn't seem to be doing very much anymore. Yeah. And my friend goes, well, that's what you need to take, And I went to my doctor and they went, oh yeah, of course. wrote me a prescription. They don't volunteer this information. So, most doctors are not really well equipped to talk about sexual health with older adults.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff I hear is, I went to the doctor and I was dismissed. I was told, well, you're not having babies anymore. So why do you need to worry about any of that?
Yeah.
Or, well, that's just the way it goes. No, there's nothing you can do about it, which is bullshit, frankly.
Yeah.
And so it's about advocating for your own sexual health, which lots of people feel quite scared to do.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And I think also, look, every age group has got a challenge around dating. Every group. And that's no different when you're older.
Yeah.
You know, online dating is a bit of a, as somebody I spoke to recently said, it's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, which is true. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That is
So you know, you have to kind of be prepared to deal with all of that. And and then I think there's just generally this lack of understanding about how we become aroused when we get older, when women go into menopause, which is that arousal changes from being spontaneous to responsive.
Yes.
And what that means is, as a younger person, you could look across the room or at a pop star or something and think, I'd really like to have sex with that person. As a older person, you could look across the room and go, oh, yeah, they're pretty hot, but your body's not really doing very much.
Okay.
And it takes some sort of physical connection to create that urgency in your body to go, oh, actually, I would like to do that.
Yeah.
So there's a trust that you need to have in your own feelings around someone. So if you're with someone, you like them, you think they're attractive, and your body's not really telling you very much.
Yeah.
Because that's generally the way it feels. But then, you know, you kiss, you hug, you touch, then everything starts to go off again. You go, oh, okay, I can be aroused. I can feel that way. But I know lots of women my age just go, well, I'm just not horny anymore. That's just it. I'm just not feeling it. It's like, well, you probably would feel it if you gave yourself permission when you're in a situation where you think, something could develop here.
Yeah.
Let's see if it will. And that's quite a big difference.
Hey you, sexy bunch, did you know that only 10% of you actually subscribe to the channel? It'd be amazing if you could like, subscribe, follow, do your thing. It really means the world. Thank you so much for your continued support. And we were talking about BDSM, and that's what you're really into as well.
Well, I have been.
You have been, okay. And so
not currently.
So tell me your relationship with doing that and what it is and what you include.
I would say BDSM in the shortest description is having a relationship where there's some sort of power dynamic.
Okay.
So it could be that you're role playing and someone is more submissive and someone is more dominant. That could be the woman or the man. It could be that you use something to create that kind of power dynamic. So you might use blindfolds or handcuffs or things where there's some degree of control.
Yeah.
So a person has more control over you. It might be that you really enjoy pain, which is not me, but some people really do and enjoy kind of impact play, which could be flogging or spanking or, you know, or things that just involve some sort of pain. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can use it. I suspect one of the things that I've always really liked about it is there's a degree of creativity involved in it.
Yeah.
Is that someone's telling you a story. They're kind of getting you to, firstly, if you're a person that's more on the submissive side, doesn't matter which side you're on, but if you're the submissive one, you're basically the one in control, really. Because if you don't like what's going on, you have the ability to stop it. So at the end of the day, it's about pleasing the submissive person. Because if you're not, then the submissive person just says, nah.
That's so true. I've never thought about it like that.
That's got to stop. So even though the submissive is implicitly suggesting you control me there. It's really more about there's a degree of tension in that relationship because you have to be giving permission for the other person to do what you've agreed on. And there is a huge amount. I suppose that's the other thing that I've always really liked about just being in that lifestyle is there's a huge amount of consent and permissions that go on. Like normally in sex, we don't talk too much about what we like and what we don't like.
Yeah.
But in BDSM, there's like a whole set of you can go through a list. You can go through a big list. There's websites that will show you these lists for free that are on my podcast. And you can literally go through with your prospective partner or your partner. Okay, let's tick off the things that we're okay with and the things that we're not okay with. So immediately you're sort of agreeing to a certain set of activities that you've said, I would like that.
Wow.
And the other person says, I would like that too. Or, well, you say you'd like that, but yeah, that doesn't really do it for me. Like somebody might say, I really love impact play. And I say, well, that's not really my thing. I don't really like too much pain, to be honest. So no, but do you like this? Well, yeah, that's up for negotiation, but let's see how it goes. Too much dirty talk, not really my thing.
Yeah.
Except in this circumstance.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully not the show. Yeah.
But, generally it's around creating boundaries and consent. And I think all good relationships are about good communication. So BDSM kind of takes that to the next level and says, we've got to agree everything here, because if we don't, and you cross
There's a problem.
there's a problem, and this is all going to stop.
And why is it now that you don't do it as much, or if at all?
No, I do, from time to time, and I suppose, it just depends on the circumstance that I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, not everybody's good at it. That's the thing. It's
True.
and not everybody wants to be. I think some relationships, there's kind of a natural dominance or submission, but sometimes it kind of is switches between people. So yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on the circumstance. Yeah. If somebody's really good at it, then that's awesome. But for me, it's around the storytelling. And I've been with people who said, oh, I'd like to try this. And it's like, you're shit at this, so you need to stop,
Yeah. And then what makes you good at it? How do you learn to be good?
It's funny, with the men that I've been with that have been really good at it, it's often because they started off as a submissive man, learned from a dominant woman, and then decided to flip the script. And so they kind of had the practice having been on the other side.
Yeah.
And those have been, for me, the best. They're just, because they've almost been trained in how to do it. I also think you just need to have a really creative mind.
Yeah.
And you need to have some space in your brain to be creative.
Yeah,
because I find people that are very, very, sometimes overly intellectual are not terribly good at it.
Do you find that is it more senior men or senior women that are more open to the idea of sex and the exploration as you grow older? Do women, are they more interested?
I'd say that typically the comments that I get on my social media are nearly always from men who want to continue to be sexual and their partner doesn't.
Wow, okay.
And I'd say that's the majority.
And what do you do if you're in a relationship and you're not having sex? Is there advice that you would give? Because you obviously can't. Well, depending on how open you are in your relationship, you can't go and find someone else and straight away.
Yeah.
Do you suggest thinking, okay, let's leave the relationship and go and find someone that is going to pleasure you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends how receptive. Look, I think it's very difficult. This was the case in my marriage. It's very difficult if you've not started your relationship from a point of view of being openly communicative about sex.
Yeah.
Like if you start off being communicative, then it's easier as you get older to just say, look, I'm having some physical issues here that are making this really painful. I want to talk to you about that. Let's see what we can do. But if you've never done that, then doing that can feel overwhelming. It can feel scary. And it can feel incredibly risky because what if you say, well, actually, we need to talk about our sex life. You've never talked about it for 20 years. Yeah. And suddenly you're saying, we need to talk about, what do we need to talk about? So normally I would advocate going to see a professional, you know, going to see a therapist, going to see a sexologist, going to see someone who can help you to start to have those conversations that you might find really, really challenging. Yeah. So I would say that would be the first thing. And the second thing I would say is that, you know, in later life, we can redesign what we think about relationships. We can think about if one person really, really, really doesn't want to have sex and the other person really, really, really does, then, and the two people still desperately want to be together, then I think one needs to think about what are the opportunities for that person to go off, whether it's to be with a sex worker, I know someone who's in an open relationship, their partner loves BDSM. She loves walking in nature naked. Yeah. He doesn't. She's like, I'm going to walk in nature naked with this guy. And he's like, great, I'm going to go off with this woman and I'm going to do my BDSM things. And they're the happiest couple I know. Yeah. You know, they're just really, but they're also incredibly communicative. So they're able to have those conversations. So whatever facilitates you being able to have those conversations, because otherwise someone's just going to cheat. And and I see that a lot on the sites that I'm on with men saying I'm married and you know, and you just think that's a real shame.
Do you think more people are creative when it comes to having sex? Or because I think the majority of me or what I think about my parents or their friends, I see everything, they're all in monogamous relationships. I know like most of my friends are, I suppose, in a monogamous relationship, but that could be just the people I'm spending my time with. But do you think more people are either wanting to but not saying anything, or is it that there's a massive community out there that are exploring?
I think there's a massive community out there that are
Do you think bigger than people that are in heterosexual monogamous relationships?
No, but I think kids that live in cities are more exposed to all different kinds of lifestyles and maybe living out in the country, maybe not so much. But I know that apps like Field, for instance, have become really popular. And when I went on Field a few years ago, it was like a tumbleweed in my age group, just nobody there. You know, I'd swipe twice and they'd go, there's no one here for you. And I'd think, oh, that's a bit sad. But now, you know, now there's loads of people there for me if I want them, which mainly I don't.
And is there a different dating app that's for senior people or not? Do you have to join the others?
Match have one called Our Time, which is for aimed at older people, which I've been on, and it was totally uninteresting. But again, that's mainly for people looking for, you know, partnered up heterosexual relationships. I would say though that, you know, speaking to my kids, looking at a lot of people I meet, definitely there's a lot more going on around ethical non-monogamy and different types of lifestyles and people coming out as queer, you know, heteroflexible, all sorts of different ways of being. Again, I think it's probably more city people just because there's more opportunity to meet those kind of people. And yeah, I mean, I think clubs like Killing Kittens have become quite mainstream. Yeah. So there's a lot, you know, there's a lot of ways that there to meet people. If you're curious about these sorts of lifestyles, then definitely that there were 20 years ago.
Yes, yeah. What can older people teach younger people about what good sex looks like?
I think one of the main things that people that are still sexually curious in later life, I think we have to define that because not everybody is, but I think people that are sexually curious in later life can support younger people to have better sex by just showing them that sex doesn't necessarily all have to be about penetration. I think that's one of the key things is that as we get older and our body changes, you start to become more creative in how you have sex, which might not necessarily mean having kind of penis and vagina sex and other kinds of sex. So it could, you know, it could be mutual masturbation. It could be oral sex. It could be, some of the stuff around BDSM, which often doesn't involve any, what would be called sex. And I think we've used the word sex as a catch-all phrase to just really mean penetrative sex. When
it's what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have sex anymore with people that don't, I'm not enjoying being with. So
yeah, definitely. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Probably no, I don't know. I used to, so back in the day when the Hoxton Hotel first opened, they used to do this daytime rate between 10 and 4 in the afternoon. They used to do a day rate that was £19.
Wow.
So I used to rent that room on a fairly frequent basis. And I just used to invite people to that room, sometimes groups of people, and sometimes just people that I was with.
And then how do you find these people?
Well, back then, Craigslist used to have really great personal ads. So I just used to, just on various sites and things. But yeah. And we just used to have so much fun. And I just destroy those rooms.
That's amazing.
It was. They don't do it anymore, though, probably because of me.
Yeah. What's the best piece of relationship advice you've ever been given?
Oh, gosh. I suppose when it comes to, the same relationship advice I would give everybody, which is know what it is you want.
Yeah.
And don't let societal expectations dictate what your relationship can look like.
Yeah.
I think that we're in an amazing period of time where we actually have the freedom to be able to really consider what our relationship needs to deliver for us.
Yeah.
And that doesn't, of course, if you're a young person and you want to get married and you want to have kids and you want to go down that traditional path, that's fine. But at my age, I've done all of that and I don't need to do that anymore. Yeah. So I can redesign the relationship for what I want and what works for me. And I think everybody has the opportunity to do that. And often we're sort of led, on a leash with the way that we think relationships should be. Yeah. And so for me, it's just about knowing what you want.
That's very good. Don't settle for anything less.
Exactly.
Really. We're going to go to audience questions now.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what people have for you.
Okay.
Would you or have you done a sex tape?
Oh, no, I was asked by Bend Over. Do you know Bend Over? And my friend, I went to Erotica like many years ago. My friend was like, you could do one of these. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I have obviously made them with people that I've known in the past. Yeah.
And why now would you be like, no, you're not going to do
it? Probably because I don't feel the need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That's good. Have you ever felt unsafe in a group sex situation?
Have I ever felt unsafe in a group sex situation? No, I haven't. I mean, I'm very forthright in being clear about how things are going to go.
Yeah.
So if they don't go my way, I just tell people to stop. Yeah. I mean, I had somebody like a very long time ago, some guy who started to porn talk to me, in a thing. And I just said, you really have to zip your mouth now. Like, just zip it up. And then we'll be fine.
Wow. Yeah.
Just said to him. And he was like, oh, okay, fine. Sorry. Yeah. So, I'm clear.
Yeah.
As long as you're clear. And also the other thing is that typically when I've been in situations like that, I've been with somebody who looks after me.
That's good.
So you in any situation where there's lots of people involved, you need to be very clear yourself, or you need to be, if you're giving power to somebody else, you need to explicitly tell them what your rules are, and they need to be clear with those people. That's how this is going to go. Otherwise, all bets are off.
Yeah. What are your thoughts around STDs in swinger scenarios?
One of the things I would say about the swinging community is that they are very focused on safe sex.
Yeah, that's
Probably more so than other communities. And I would say that's true of just meeting people via swinging sites or going to sex clubs, is that it doesn't really matter. Everybody uses condoms, everybody.
That's really good.
And they
Like
put them out in
unwritten
bowls and they're there. So you would never, ever, ever go to a club where that wasn't happening ever.
Okay. That's good. What's the most embarrassing situation that you found yourself in? Is it a party, or is there been an embarrassing sex story that you've got?
Has there been an embarrassing sex story? Oh, probably blood all over someone's sheets.
Okay.
But that was a long time ago. Obviously, I don't have to worry about that now.
But then is that just... But is that so? That is from a period. But why do you think that's embarrassing?
Probably because when I reflect on it, it's like I made no apologies at the time. Like I didn't say anything. I was so full of my own amazingness at the time. I was just like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like it's just a bit of blood. And then on reflection, I thought, like that guy might not own more than these sheets. Like these were white sheets. And I thought, he might not own any other sheets. And I've just literally destroyed these. Like I've destroyed these and they're not gonna, you can't wash it out. It's not gonna come out. And I didn't even say sorry. That was terrible.
That's so funny.
He was kind of famous too.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever.
So what sort of percentage of couples do you think engage in swinger activities? And also, is it obvious who's a swinger?
No, not at all. Couples who engage in swinging, I suspect the proportion's really low. But
Really?
it is mainly a couples thing, for sure. It's something that couples do. And the thing that I like about it in a couple is that it's just a way of making your sex life more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So typically when I meet couples in that kind of situation, they're really super happy. Like they're just really happy, you know, they're chill, they're happy. Normally things go on, you know, in the presence of others. So everybody goes home, they're all turned on, and then they go and shag their brains out. And that's good. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. How old were you when you lost your virginity?
17. In a one-night stand. Well, it's like a two-night stand.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was a guy I met on a school field trip who worked in the Old Vic Theatre.
Oh, nice.
Backstage.
Wow.
Yeah, couldn't tell you too much about that.
Yeah, can you not really... Was it good? Or
no.
Really? No, not at all.
No, but of course, it was exciting at the time.
Yeah,
It's like a
definitely.
squat in Regent's Park. It was very exciting.
That's so good. Have you ever left a partner for someone who you met and was really amazing at a sex party?
No, never.
No. So
No.
you wouldn't like leave...
No, ever. No, I'd never do that.
Yeah.
No. It never really, to be honest, when you're in a club or a party or whatever, for me, it's just, it's a bit like foreplay. It's just fun. You get to watch lots of people. You dress up, it's fun, but the real fun usually comes when I get back with the person that I've gone with. That's when the real fun begins.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of, it's just a way of just getting excited.
Yeah. And lastly, what advice would you give someone that has children and wants to be open about sex? How do you address it? How do you have the discussion about that you're going to bring a new person home? And
yeah, it depends on the age of the kids. I think when they're really young or when they're younger, if you're going to, I didn't bring people home generally when my kids were around. So I had boyfriends. Yeah. These were people I was in relationships with. I didn't just bring random people home.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. I think that is always going to be a challenge, just to bring, purely also just from a safety point of view.
Yeah.
You have to think like you're bringing, I'm really, really cautious about who I bring to my home.
Yeah.
And mostly, I don't. That the person that I see, yes, he comes to my home, but other times there's other places. So I don't really bring that many people home. And I do think you have your own safety to consider when you bring people to your house. So I just say, be safe and generally meet people in public. And if you're going to bring people back, then typically I would advise that that's something that you do with somebody that you might have the potential to see more than just once.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
I don't think any kid really wants to see a bunch of one-night stands coming in and out of their parents' lives, you know.
No, definitely. And where can everyone find you? What are your platforms?
So they can find me on TikTok at Sex Advice for Seniors. They can find me on Substack at Sex Advice for Seniors, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram.
So
That's
good.
it.
Amazing. Well, this is Suzanne, everybody. Thank you so much. That was amazing. I have been nominated for Love Honey's Sex and Relationship Be Creative of the Year award, and I absolutely can't believe it. It would mean the world to me if you would insert your vote on www.becreator.co.uk/awards. It would mean the world to me, and I cannot wait. And hopefully I'll get lucky. Laugh about it. Give it to me, baby. Learn about it. Love it or hate it. Let's do it. Under the Sheets with Tatiana Ashbourne and friends.